thanks everyone for coming out. I'm Lou Mazzante, the editor of Mountain Bike. We're here to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the magazine and to celebrate the past and future of mountain biking. So if you look around you, not only do we see these legends up here, you'll see 15 of these photographs that we've taken from the pages of the magazine, kind of represent the adventure, the joy, the excitement, the pain of riding. But what photographs can't always capture is the hard work and the passion of the people that make the sport go around. So we wanted to bring 4 of the hardest working, most passionate riders that we know up here and talk about the history, the past, the future of mountain biking. So I'll do a little quick introduction. I think you guys probably know who everybody is, but we got over on the far left there is Marla Streb, World Cup winner. Yeah.
World Championship.
Multi-time national champion, single-speed world champion. Now working with Luna, building trails, having a good time. We got Gary Fisher, who not only is one of the pioneers of the sport, probably one of the best dressed, or definitely the best dressed man in mountain biking. Seated next to him, Ned Overend, Colorado, world champion, still probably the fastest man out there on a bike. And then Hans Rey, probably the most famous man in mountain biking over the globe. He's been riding for GT, been riding for a bunch of brands, and is one of the true ambassadors of the sport. So Gary, I'll start with you. Since you're one of the instigators,
all right.
You got this whole thing going. One of the guys who are out there doing it.
As a developer.
You're a developer.
Okay.
When did you know this thing that began as clunking would turn into the phenomenon we now call mountain biking?
I think it was 77. And it was when Joe Breeze made his first 10 bikes, and he sold them for $750. I mean, that guy must have made 50 cents an hour working on those bikes. And I said to myself, well, people are really willing to pay a lot for this, because you got to realize at the time, you could buy a full-on Campagnolo Colnago for $450. You could buy a Davidson custom frame complete Campagnolo bike for $900. And Joe Breeze is selling this bike for $750. And I thought, people totally care about this. There's total passion, and this is going a long ways.
How about everybody else? We have a lot of diverse backgrounds here. Everyone came to the sport for different reasons. What were some of the reasons that everyone found mountain biking? I mean, what attracted it to you?
I'll go. I was just trying to escape the law. And mountain biking was legal. So, for me, it was a no-brainer. I wouldn't get in trouble. I could get my heart rate up. I could take chances. It felt like breaking the rules. Whoops. Anyway, riding out up the mountain and wherever I wanted, it was incredible, and I was in love day one.
Hans, how about you?
Well, when I came to the mountain biking scene, it seemed very well established. Maybe looking back at it from now, it seems like I've been there from way longer, but these guys been at it long before I arrived from Germany. I was a trials rider. Trials is a European sport, unlike mountain biking or BMX. And usually we used to ride trials when we were young kids and then either change to motorcycle trials or get a real job. And I was about to start a real job or go to university, and I kind of officially retired as a trials rider. And Kevin Norton, the U.S. national trials champion, said, hey, there's a new sport starting in America, and you know what? Trials is one of the disciplines, but they're doing it on big bikes with 26-inch wheels and all this, and you should come and show these Americans how to do it. And I figured, this would be a great way to end my career. I always looked with one eye to America, to the whole BMX scene, which used to be big back in the days. They had factory teams, and those guys were driving Porsches and stuff, and we were glad when we got a free inner tube, from the local bike shop. So I figured, hey, I go to America and check it out, and got the opportunity. Somebody said, hey, why don't you stay here for a bit? And I figured, this sounds good. I can go to school next year. And then I added another year, and 24 years later, the school is still waiting for me to come back.
And Ned?
Well, I can remember the early days, like 1983. I'd done some road racing and I'd done some triathlon, and I was thinking about trying to make a professional career out of either one of those, the road race or the triathlon, and then mountain biking started to develop. There was the Pacific Sun Tour Series, which was like a 5 or 6 race series across California, and I did that and did well, and called Schwinn because I was working at a Schwinn bike shop at the time. And one thing I remember is that the Gary Fisher team was the most professional team out there, and it had Joe Murray.
Joe Murray, and I
the dominant
hated
rider
it that
at
you
the
came
time.
along.
Joe and I had some classic battles, but I remember the gear that you guys were using was state of the art. I was on my stock Schwinn High Sierra for a little while, and then the guys at Paramount at Schwinn built me a custom frame, and it took us a while before we got a frame that held together. They were building like road bike tubing frames into mountain bike geometry.
Wasn't that Mark Mueller?
Yeah, I think he was one of the guys building it, But yeah, and it developed so quickly from there. I mean, so many more races and racers coming in and manufacturers. And at the time, racing was the primary marketing tool for all of the bike companies involved in mountain bikes. And that was good for the athletes, right? Because, I mean, the athletes was the primary tool. Tomac is a prime example. You know, they used the athletes to market the product and used the athletes to help develop the product. And we still do that now, but there's just so many other aspects to mountain biking besides racing now that the athletes aren't quite as famous as they used to be.